We begin this hour with an arrest outside of the site of tomorrow's Charlie Kirk Memorial. That's happening in Glendale, Arizona. The Secret Service say that they have detained an armed man who was posing as a law enforcement officer and, quote, exhibiting suspicious behavior. The arrest comes as thousands of people are expected to turn out to honor the assassinated conservative activist. Security, of course, being ramped up for tomorrow's event, which will be attended by a who's who of political leaders. Take a look at your screen right there, including President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. CNN's Betsy Klein is at the White House. Betsy, several members of the administration are attending Charlie Kirk's memorial. What can you tell us? What can we expect?
Many members indeed. We are going to see officials from the highest level of the Trump administration, as well as the Republican Party and top political influencers, all converging in Arizona tomorrow to honor Charlie Kirk, the late conservative activist assassinated just days ago. And Kirk was a trusted advisor to this White House. His Turning Point USA group also really credited with helping President Trump return to the Oval Office back in 2024 during the presidential election. But he was also a very close friend and personal, like a member of the Trump family to the first family. He was close with many members of the White House staff and other administration officials. And he also was instrumental during the presidential transition in helping to staff up this administration, helping to pick some members of the cabinet. So the people who work in this building and around the Washington really expected to be honoring a very close friend. They are grieving a major loss. And just to take a look at some of the expected speakers, President Trump himself, as well as Vice President J.D. Vance, along with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and Stephen Miller, the president's top aide there. And just to underscore the impact that Charlie Kirk had on this administration, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt telling Fox News earlier today that they are going to send 2 planes full of White House staff from Washington to Arizona tomorrow. Isabel.
Yeah, you have the president, the vice president, cabinet members. How are officials preparing for what is becoming a major security test?
It is. This is posing a major test for law enforcement, particularly the U.S. Secret Service, that agency already under so much pressure and strain. And so to help with that, this event has been designated as a special event assessment rating level 1 event. That really unlocks federal resources to help bolster the security there. According to a senior Department of Homeland Security official, quote, this designation is reserved for events of the highest national significance and enables the federal government to provide the full range of law enforcement and security resources necessary to support local officials in ensuring a safe and successful event. Now, other events that have received this type of designation have included the Super Bowl, the Kentucky Derby, and the kinds of resources we're talking about here include canine bomb detection teams, as well as cybersecurity risk assessments. There's going to be air support, things like drones and helicopters, as well as venue screening. Attendees expected to told to expect TSA-like screening. There's also a no bag policy as well.
Yeah, security, of course, top of mind. Betsy Klein, thank you. And we'll have special coverage of the Charlie Kirk Memorial service beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. After Kirk's assassination, baseless conspiracy theories about his death have skyrocketed online. Despite investigators saying that they believe the suspect acted alone, Trump allies like Steve Bannon pushed the narrative that the shooter was part of a larger conspiracy. CNN's Marshall Cohen has the details.
It is getting really ugly on social media. In the week after Charlie Kirk was killed, there were more than 2 million distinct posts on X, formerly Twitter, referencing conspiracy theories. That's according to the data analytics firm Peak Metrics. They found that this was actually twice as many conspiratorial posts as there were last year after the assassination attempt against Donald Trump. Think about that for a second. One expert who tracks disinformation told me that this is the worst he's ever seen. And there are a few reasons for that. First, there was the extremely graphic close-up footage of Kirk's death that instantly went viral, creating a visceral reaction. Also, this tragedy came at a time when 71% of Americans think that our society itself is broken, according to a Reuters poll. This creates the opening for crazy conspiracy theories to flourish. So some left-wing figures promoted the unhinged idea that Donald Trump himself orchestrated the murder to distract from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal and the Jeffrey Epstein files. Other liberal activists tried to connect the suspect to far-right white supremacist groups that had previously clashed with Kirk, even though there is mounting evidence that the suspect disliked Kirk's conservative views. And then on the right, Trump allies like Steve Bannon and Laura Loomer have claimed that the suspect was part of a terror cell and that he was just a bit player in a national conspiracy that is being covered up. They're peddling this even as the authorities say that the suspect acted alone. Other right-wing influencers are leaning heavily into anti-Semitic tropes to blame Israel. They've claimed that Israeli spies took out Kirk, who was starting to waver from his long-standing support for the Jewish state. These ideas are uncorroborated, totally debunked, and some of them are just flat out crazy. But as one disinformation expert told me, they don't actually need to make any sense because the incentives on the internet are totally backwards. The influencers and podcasters and grifters promoting these theories need to churn out inflammatory hot takes just like these to gain more followers, build their subscriber lists, and keep the money flowing. Marshall Cohen, CNN, Washington.